And we're back to some more New York Rangers franchise mode in FHM 11. And in this one, we have the final episode of the Rangers GM mode. That's right. So what we're going to do for this final episode, we are going to try to go out with a bang. We're going to do one more season, which includes this offseason. We're currently on July 1st. We're going to go all the way through. We're going to go straight through the regular season and into the playoffs. And hopefully we can win one more cup before it's all said and done at the end of this episode. So that being said, let's get right into it. There are 3 players that I have offered in free agency. You have Riley Plumpton, the 2.5-star ability left defenseman who is 25 years of age. Looks like he's probably a two-way defenseman based off what I'm seeing here. And I didn't want to get anyone too crazy for left defense, considering that you have Bose and Mrazek there who are still trying to develop. So I didn't want anyone to get in their way. And then we're also approaching Trey Tourney to be our 7th defenseman. And then we're also going back after Yevgeny Kozlov, who is a 3-star ability, 3.5-star potential. Of course, he's been on our team for the past 3 years. I did not re-sign him right away. However, we do still have his rights, and I believe I gave him a $5 million deal for 5 years. So with that out of the way, let's make our way to the draft order announcement. And at number 16, you have Ottawa, followed up by Columbus, Philly, Edmonton, New Jersey, the Islanders, Chicago, Florida, Dallas, Carolina, Edmonton, Colorado, Utah, Vegas, and then Montreal at number 1, followed by Tampa at number 2. All right, time for the draft. And I mean, it's really not a great draft, so I guess it's a good thing that we're ending this series off here. Let's pick until human. And oh, wow, there are only 2-star potentials left. And you know what? I think we might just skip the draft as a whole here this year, considering that there's not really too many interesting players, it doesn't seem. Well, actually, Joseph Surson looks at least kind of interesting. Got some decent ratings in there. Is already a 1-star ability. Yeah, sure, I'll take him. And on to round number 2, there are 2-star potentials left, and they're both goaltenders. So now we will have the computer finish the draft. All right, we got all of Tourney, Plumpton, and Kozlov. So we're now at 23 players on the roster and a salary cap of 87.984. Wow, we cut it very close to the cap ceiling, but we did somehow manage to stay just under the cap ceiling. We have no players on the injury list, so we don't have any cap coming back onto the roster. And there's nothing else I really want to do in free agency, so let's move on to the Hall of Fame inductions, and then we'll move on to the final regular season simulation of the New York Rangers franchise mode. And into the Hockey Hall of Fame this year are JT Miller, Connor Hellebuck, Victor Hedman, and Chris Letang. All right, so here's a look at our roster for this year. You have Vinny and Andreasen in goal. On defense, you have Dennis, Cole, Willander, Bose, Mrazek, Plumpton, and Tourney. And at forward, you have Venberg, Tomic, Nadeau, Bjork, Artamanov, Wickstrom, Arvidsson, Kyla, Ryabkin, Kozlov, Sabo, Larson, Cataford, and Reed. Ooh, Jack Dennis out 2 to 3 months. Unfortunate. Oh boy. Here we go again. Willander out indefinitely. And I suppose we're going to have to call up a defenseman here, Ryder McLeod. And we might even, I might even see what's out there in free agency. Wow. Ryashentsev, Bedard, Torquay, McKinnon, Jarvis. Man, I like this game a lot. I do. But this is a serious problem. Yeah, I think we're going to have to sign this guy, Pavel Kila. Looks to be a defensive defenseman here, a good puck handler as well, and I think that should replace Willander pretty nicely. He had a 62 grade last time he played in the NHL with Vancouver. So off him a contract. He wants 6.1 for 3 years. I mean, we have the cap space at the moment, and it's not like Willander is going to be coming back anytime soon. So yeah, let's do this. I think I'll try to take him down to 5.75 for 3 years. All right, how about 5.8? All right, that'll work. 5.8 for 3 years for Pavel Kila, or Sila, however you pronounce it. And hopefully that'll work out in the meantime. Whew, okay, Jack Dennis is back in the lineup. That was a long time without him, but you know what? We're doing very well right now with 34, 14, and 2, so let's just keep going. Okay, Willander's going to be coming back momentarily, and we're on March 1st, so this is the perfect time to trade Pavel Sila here, who, I mean, he's been decent for us. He has 27 points in 49 games played, 59 grade. Not too bad, but we got to make room for Willander. He's very good. So I think we will send him to Washington for a 2nd round pick. Oh, Mitchell Bose out indefinite. I mean, we still had to trade away, what's his name, Sila, because of the cap space issue, but that's a rough one to get. at this time of year. And he's been pretty good too. He got up to a 3.5-star ability so far, and his potential is at a 4.5-star still. 37 points so far in 69 games played, 65 grade. He's been doing well, so that's a shame. Nadeau, 3 to 4 months right before playoff time. All right, we have finished the regular season 57-21-4. Good enough for second in the Metropolitan Division. Pittsburgh was better. They had 60 wins in the season, 124 points. My goodness. So let's get a look at the player stats and the team stats before we jump into the playoffs. In goal, you have a 906 save percentage for Vinny in 40 games played, and a 905 for Andreasen in 43 games played, so they split the season. Skater-wise, you have 98 points for Venberg, 96 for Tomek, 94 for Nadeau. That line was great. Artamanov with 80, Bjork with 74, Ryabkin with 53, Mrazek and Cole with 47, 42 for Sabo and Wickstrom. That's a good rookie season for Sabo. Kyla and Bose with 37, 26 for Plumpton and Dennis. Dennis obviously had that injury. He only had 42 games played. Kozlov with 24. Arvidsson and Willander with 22. And for Willander, that 22 is in 26 games played. Larson with 21. Tourney with 12. Reed with 8. Cataford with 7. And McLeod with 6. And now look at the team stats. Goals for per game, we finished second in the league with a 4.20. Goals against per game, we finished 9th in the league with a 2.98. Really? That's 9th? Faceoffs, we finished 15th in the league with a 50.4. Power play, we finished second in the league with a 26%. And penalty kill, we finished 8th in the league with an 82.1. So yeah, not much to be said. This was a really good team this year, and I think we have a chance at the playoffs. I mean, obviously, we're dealing with a couple of injuries right now in Bose and Nadeau. Nadeau being the key one there. Nadeau actually had 94 points on the season. And then Bose, of course, had a solid second year with 37 points. So we're going to be missing both of them for sure in these playoffs. But I would like to believe that we can still get it done. So let's see who we are facing in the first round of these final playoffs. And the first round, we'll be facing the 47-30-5 Columbus Blue Jackets. So let's get right into it. Game number 1 against Columbus will be a 5-4 Rangers victory. Shots are 36-34 in favor of your Rangers. 3 stars of the game, Dennis, Wagner, and Venberg. First period, you have Trey Tourney with a goal from Arvidsson and Dennis, plus of 1-0. Then Martin Mrazek from Venberg and Ryabkin to make it 2-0. Then you have Iverson with the goal for Columbus to make it 2-1. Second period, you have Dennis with a goal from Tomek and Venberg to make it 3-1. Kopani Sabo with his first playoff goal from Ryabkin to make it 4-1. Then you have Johnson and Garofalo for Columbus to make it 4-3. But then Kopani Sabo with another one from Willander to make it 5-3. And then in the third period, Cage Smith for Columbus makes it 5-4. And we take a 1-0 series lead. Here we go. Game number 2 will be an 8-1 Rangers victory. Shots are 51-22 in favor of the Rangers. 3 stars of the game, Bjork, Tomek, and Venberg. First period, you have Tomek with the goal from Dennis and Venberg to make it 1-0. Then it's Ryder McLeod shorthanded from Bjork and Willander to make it 2-0. Then you have Venberg from Tomek and Bjork to make it 3-0. Then you have Jonathan Iverson to make it 3-1. Tobias Tomek with his second of the period from Mrazek and Bjork to make it 4-1. Heading into the second period, where it is Wickstrom with the goal from Plumpton to make it 5-1. And then in the third period, it's Artamanov with his first of the playoffs from Ryabkin and Cole. And then Kopani Sabo with his third of the series from Cole and Venberg to make it 7-1. And then Vigo Bjork makes it 8-1 from Venberg and Tomek. And that gives us a 2-0 lead in the series. Here we go. Game number 3 will be a 7-0 Rangers victory. Shots of 43-28 in favor of the Rangers. 3 stars of the game, Vinny with the shutout, Ryabkin and Dennis. First period, you have Artamanov from Dennis and Ryabkin to make it 1-0. Then it's Dennis from Sabo and Ryabkin to make it 2-0. Then it's Tomek on the power play from Venberg and Ryabkin. So Ryabkin with 3 assists straight. And then in the second period, you have Riley Plumpton with a goal from Bjork to make it 4-0. Kozlov from Mrazek makes it 5-0. And then Dennis from Bjork and Willander makes it 6-0. Heading in the third period, where Tobias Tomek on the power play from Artamanov and Ryabkin makes it the 7-0 victory. Game number 4, elimination game. Let's see it. There you go. Go right off the bat for Riley Plumpton from Wickstrom and Ryabkin to make it 1-0. But there's 1-1. Luke Petros with the goal. But there's 2-1. Nikita Artamanov with the goal from Ryabkin and Tomek. And that'll be it for the first. We're up by 1 heading into the second period. There's 2-2. Jeff Buttazzoni with the goal. And we are tied heading into the third. Come on, boys. Oh, there's a goal for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Cash Koch with the goal to make it 3-2. At 3-3, Oscar Renberg with the goal from Tomek makes it tied in the third period. And we are headed to overtime. Who's it going to be? It'll be our New York Rangers, Ryabkin with the goal. And we are off to the second round in a 4-game sweep of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Shots are 38-31 in favor of Columbus. 3 stars of the game: Ryabkin, Buttazzoni, and Tomek. Harshan Kyla out 3 to 4 months. He's done for the playoffs. So I think with that, we're going to call up probably Ethan Garden. Oh, and we will be facing the 60-18-4 Pittsburgh Penguins here. And this will be one heck of a test in the second round. All right, here we go. Game number 1 against Pittsburgh will be at 2-1 Rangers victory. Shots are 36-25 in favor of Pittsburgh. 3 stars of the game: Arvidsson, Brandzak, Nygaard, and Sabo. First period, Arvidsson with a goal from Colin Mrazek makes it 1-0. Second period, Apperson with a goal from Pittsburgh makes it 1-1. But then it's Ryabkin from Sabo to make it 2-1. And that would be all the scoring in the game. And we take a 1-0 series lead. Here we go. Game number 2 will be a 4-1 New York victory. Shots are 40-34 in favor of the Rangers. 3 stars of the game: Arvidsson, Vinny, and Tourney. First period, you have Wenberg with the goal from Arvidsson and Reed. Makes it 1-0. Second period, Maltby with the goal for Pittsburgh. Makes it 1-1. Third period, Tomek with a goal from Tourney and Bjork. Makes it 2-1. Plumpton with the goal from Sabo on Artamanov. Makes it 3-1. And then Cole on the empty net from Arvidsson makes it the 4-1 victory, and we're up 2-0 in the series against the President's Trophy winning Pittsburgh Penguins. Here we go. Game number 3 will be a 4-1 Pittsburgh victory. Okay. Shots are 45-34 in favor of Pittsburgh. 3 stars of the game: Croxall, Walsh, and Apperson. First period, Brandzak, Nygaard with the goal to put them up 1-0. Second period, you have Pursoon with the goal to make it 2-0. And it's Artamanov with our lone goal of the game from Ryabkin and Arvidsson to make it 2-1. But then in the third period, it's Vondraiska and O'Brien on the empty net to make it the 4-1 Pittsburgh victory. All right, here we go. Game number 4 will be a 4-3 Rangers victory. So we're up 3-1 in the series now. Shots are 42-17 in favor of your Rangers. 3 stars of the game: Sabo, Gustafsson, and Ryabkin. First period, you have Wenberg with a goal from Dennis and Bjork to make it 1-0. And it's Kingerski on the power play to make it 1-1. But then Trey Tourney with the goal from Ryabkin and Sabo to make it 2-1. Heading in the second period, where it's Sabo from Ryabkin and Artamanov. And then in the third period, you have Ronti with the goal to make it 3-2. Vondraiska with the goal for Pittsburgh to make it tied at 3. But then it's Wenberg with the power play marker late in the period from Tomek and Mrazek to make it the 4-3 victory. And we're up 3-1 in the series. Here we go. Game number 5 going into it. And that's a goal right off the bat for Pittsburgh. Kingerski with the goal makes it 1-0. But then it's Artamanov with our first goal of the game from Sabo and Mrazek. Up 2-1. Mike Croxall with the goal. Come on, guys. All right, there it is. Bennett Cole with the goal from Legarden and Larson. We're tied at 2 heading into the second period. 3-2. Kopani Sabo with the goal from Dennis and Artamanov. But there's 3-3. Craig Howes. We're going back and forth here. 4-3. Carter Kingerski with the goal for Pittsburgh with his second of the game. But there's 4-4. Tobias Tomek from Larson and Dennis. 5-4. Carter Kingerski with the hat trick. Oh, geez. 6-4. David Gustafsson. And we are down by 2 heading into the third. Come on, guys. All right, there's 1. We have 2:17 remaining. There's a goal for Jesper Arvidsson from Reed and Willander. Can we do it? Can we get it tied? We do. 19 seconds left. Tobias Tomek from Garden makes it tied at 6. And we have overtime. Wow. Good effort there, boys. Late in the third period from your New York Rangers to force overtime. Can we do it? Nah, they spoil it. Croxall with the goal to make it a 7-6 Pittsburgh victory. And we're headed to game number 6. That was an unfortunate ending there, especially with how we came back there at the end. All right, here we go. Game number 6. Do not go to 7. Come on, boys. And with 2 seconds left in the first, Eric Reed with his first goal of the playoffs from Tomek and Wenberg. And that would be a scoreless second period as well. We were up by 1 heading into the third. And there's 2. Martin Mrazek with the goal from Gardner and Kozlov. Hold on to it. Yeah, there you go. Wenberg with the goal from Willander and Tomek. And it seems we are going to hold on. Yes, indeed. We get number 4 with 5 seconds left. Eric Reed with the second of the game from Kozlov and Garden. And we're moving on to round number 3. We beat the President's Trophy winning Pittsburgh Penguins. Very nicely done. Shots are 36-25 in favor of the Rangers. 3 stars a game: Wenberg, Reed, and Kozlov. And the third round, we'll be facing the 41-32-9 Detroit Red Wings. So here we go. Game number 1 will be a 3-1 Rangers victory. Shots are 46-18 in favor of your Rangers. 3 stars of the game: Wenberg, Bouchenet, and Bjork. First period, you have Bjork with a goal from Wenberg and Dennis to make it 1-0. And then it's Mrazek from Bjork and Wenberg to make it 2-0. Second period, no scoring. Third period, Wenberg with a goal from Mrazek and Kozlov. And then you have Larry Roberts with a lone Detroit goal to make it 3-1. And we take a 1-0 lead in the series. Here we go. Game number 2 will be a 4-1 Rangers victory. Shots at 44-18 in favor of Rangers. 3 stars of the game: Ryabkin, Artamonov, and Mrazek. First period, no scoring. Second period, Artamonov with the power play marker from Ryabkin makes it 1-0. Third period, Venberg with the goal from Plumpton, and Bjork makes it 2-0. Then you have Ryabkin from Artamonov to make it 3-0. Harry Terry with the goal to make it 3-1, but then it's Martin Mrazek on the empty net from Sabo to make it the 4-1 victory. We're up 2-0 in the series. Artamonov injured. Doesn't seem like it's major. All right, here we go. Game number 3 will be a 5-2 Rangers victory. Shots are 51-22 in favor of Rangers. It seems like we're dominating here in this series. 3 stars of the game are Ryabkin, Reed, and Kozlov. First period, you have Kozlov with the goal from Reed to make it 1-0. And then it's Tomek from Dennis and Willander to make it 2-0. Jonas Hertzman for Detroit to make it 2-1 heading into the second period, where it's Hertzman again to make it tied at 2. But then it's all New York as you have Ryabkin with a goal from Mrazek to make it 3-2. Ryabkin with another one from Kozlov and Tourney to make it 4-2. And then Willander with a goal from Reed to make it 5-2. No scoring at the third. We're up 3-0 in the series. All right, here we go. Elimination game number 4. And that's a goal right off the bat for Kapani Sabo, unassisted. But there's 1-1. Caden Asawi Ma with the goal. That's quite the name. But there's 2-1. Martin Mrazek with the goal. His 5th of the playoffs from Ryabkin and Cole. And there's 3-1. Vigo Bjork from Tourney and Plumpton. And we're up by 2 heading in the second period. Up, there's a goal for Detroit. Daxon Yerricks with the goal. Gets them within 1. But there's 3-3. Quinn Beauchenet makes it tied. And we're heading into the third period, tied at 3. Come on, there it is, 4-3. Jack Dennis with the goal from Garden and Bjork with 7:54 remaining. And we get another one with 37 seconds left. Kozlov from Tourney and Willander. And we are off to the Stanley Cup Finals after another sweep in these playoffs. My goodness. Shots are 44-27 in favor of your New York Rangers. 3 stars of the game: Bjork, Naslund, and Sabo. And we have the 51-25-6 Vancouver Canucks in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I believe, is this not a rematch? Is this not a rematch from 1994? Yep, this is a rematch from the 1994 Stanley Cup Finals, and we all know how that ended, so I don't see why we shouldn't be able to do it here. So let's go. Game number 1 at the Stanley Cup Finals against Vancouver will be a 5-1 Vancouver victory. Shots are 27-25 in favor of Vancouver. 3 stars of the game: Shergott, Urbanov, and Tuzin. First period, you have Urbanov with the goal for Vancouver to make it 1-0. That is Shergott with the goal to make it 2-0. Oscar Renberg with a lone goal for us from Willander and Tomek to make it 2-1, but that's Matt Schaefer to make it 3-1. Heading into the second period, where it's Tim Tuzin and Olivier Berube to make it the 5-1 Vancouver victory, as there was no scoring in the third. All right, here we go. Game number 2. Come on, boys. There you go. 4-1 victory makes the series tied at 1. Shots are 34-26 in favor of Vancouver, but we still got the win. 3 stars of the game: Arvidsson, Vinny, and Reed. First period, no scoring. Second period, Arvidsson gets the scoring started from Wickstrom to make it 1-0. Then you have Jack Dennis from Tomek to make it 2-0. And then Eric Reed from Dennis and Willander to make it 3-0. And in the third period, where it's Eli Barrett to make it 3-1. But that's Jesper Arvidsson with the empty net goal from Tourney to make it 4-1. And we are tied at 1 in the series. Here we go into game number 3. And that'll be a 5-1 Rangers victory. Shots are 48-15 in favor of the Rangers. 3 stars of the game: Cole, Mrazek, and Artamonov. First period, you have Artamonov with the goal from Sabo and Dennis to make it 1-0. Second period, you have Mrazek with a goal from Cole and Tomek to make it 2-0. Third period, Rozzy with a goal for Vancouver to make it 2-1. But then it's Cole from Kozlov and Larson, Arvidsson from Mrazek and Reed, and Wickstrom from Cole to make it 5-1. And we now have a 2-1 series lead. Here we go. Game 4 will be a 4-3 Rangers victory. We are up 3-1 in the series. Shots are 37-35 in favor of the Rangers. 3 stars of the game: Artamonov, Rozzy, and Bjork. First period, you have Rozzy with a goal for Vancouver to make it 1-0. Then it's Kapani Sabo from Artamonov to make it 1-1. Second period, Renberg with the goal from Willander and Bjork to make it 2-1. Third period, you have Tomek with the power play goal from Artamonov to make it 3-1. Then Luchanko with the goal for Vancouver to make it 3-2. Jack Dennis on the empty net from Ryabkin and Artamonov makes it 4-2. But then it's Dylan Rozzy late in the period to make it interesting at 4-3, but it was too little, too late for Vancouver. And we are 1 win away from winning the second Stanley Cup of the GM mode. So here we go. Elimination game number 5 underway. There it is right off the bat. Jack Dennis from Tomek makes it 1-0. Oh, there's 1-1. Daniil Urbanov with the goal. And we were heading the second period tied at 1. Up, there's 2-1. Tim Tuzin with the goal, unassisted. And we're heading the third period down by 1. Come on, boys. There it is. Artamanov with the unassisted goal. Makes it tied at 2. Late in the third period, we are headed to overtime. Who will it be? Come on, boys. There it is. Kozlov with the goal. And we are once again the Stanley Cup champions. Shots are 51-31 in favor of your New York Rangers. 3 stars of the game, Dennis, Urbanov, and Tomek. So there you go. Your 2037-38 Stanley Cup champions are your New York Rangers. And you know what? Could not have asked for a better way to wrap up this series. We went through Columbus in a sweep, Pittsburgh in 6, Detroit in a sweep, and Vancouver in 5. There you go. All right, now let's check out the playoff stats real quick. In goal, you have a .922 save percentage for Vinny in 19 games played. Very nicely done. And skater-wise, you have 21 points for Tomek, leads the way. Then you have 20 for Ryabkin, 19 for Vemberg, 17 for Dennis, 16 for Artamanov, 15 for Sabo, and Mrazek. Mrazek was really good on defense with the scoring, especially in these playoffs. Then you have Bjork with 14, Willander with 11, 9 for Arvidsson, Kozlov, and Cole, 8 for Reed and Torney, 6 for Plumpton, 4 for Wickstrom, 3 for Larson, and 1 for McLeod in 1 game played. And then nothing for Cataford and Kyla. And then, of course, Nadeau and Bose did not play due to their injuries. And now it's time for the awards. For the Ted Lindsay and Art Ross, you have Max Westergaard of Vegas. He had 53 goals and 114 points this year. For the Maurice Richard, you have Pontus Bjorkqvist of Florida. 53 goals, 89 points. For the Lady Bing, you have Johnny Ainsley of Nashville. 23 goals, 54 points. Bill Masterton, you have Isaac Rosane of Carolina. He had 29 goals, 62 points this year. And for the Mark Messier Leadership Award, you have Nolan Fitzhenry of Dallas, who had 14 goals and 28 points this year. And then for the Jennings Trophy, you have Gabriel Dyke of Columbus, who had a .919 save percentage in 66 games played. And for the Hart Trophy between Max Westergaard, Jack Hughes, and Ivan Demidov, you have Max Westergaard. For the Conn Smythe, it is Jack Dennis of your New York Rangers with 17 points in 19 games played. I mean, he is certainly the backbone of this team, as he is just incredible. If we were to go any further in this GM mode, like if we were to go, 15 years down the line, by the time Jack Dennis retires, he'll probably end up being one of the best defensemen in Rangers history. That's my guess, just based off what we're seeing here with his ratings. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous right there. Even for someone who's a shutdown defenseman, he is great offensively. So I mean, that speaks for itself. And for the Calder between Kopani Sabo, Renaud Lavoie, and Jesse Sullivan, it is Kopani Sabo of your New York Rangers. So we're really capping off the GM mode in a good way here. 42 points in 79 games played for him. For the Norris between Kurs Apperson, Ivan Geselev, and Chad Hanna, it is Chad Hanna of Pittsburgh with 51 points. For the Selke between Ben Hollins, Quentin Girardin, and Svante Forsman, it is Ben Hollins of Colorado with 49 points. For the Vezina between Andre Walsh, Yaroslav Novak, and Gabriel Dyke, it is Gabriel Dyke of Columbus with a .919 save percentage and 6 shutouts in 66 games played. GM of the year between Kyle Dubas, yours truly, and Eric Joyce. Oh, Eric Joyce with the Vegas Golden Knights gets the GM of the year. So unfortunate that we go out not winning the GM of the year, but you know what? That's fine. We won the Stanley Cup. I don't care about that. Still, though, it would have been nice to really put a bow on this series. And for the Jack Adams between Keith Collins, Jim Slater, and Martin St. Louis, it is Keith Collins of Vegas. And I know we're not going any further in this series, but look at all these players you had to re-sign. Vemberg, Tomek, Willander, Artamanov, Bose, Arvidsson, Kyla. Yeah, that's, well, suffice to say, I'm glad we're ending this GM mode here. Don't want to have to deal with that cap nightmare. And here's our final season report card. We were not manager of the year, of course. We did not finish first, but we had the rest of the positive categories, no negative categories, of course. Longevity bonus of 13, financial health bonus of 1, total season score 55, and final career score of 418 as we fill out the rest of the head coaching ratings. And that'll be just about it. But before we end off this series, want to check on Zeke Burns, the custom player for a channel member. All right, looks like he's an NHL regular now. He's spending his time with the Washington Capitals. A couple of full seasons in there. 29 points is his career high so far. Not bad. 173 games played, 19 goals, 38 assists, and 57 points. So not bad for Zeke Burns. And with that, we will now end things off, of course, by doing what I like to do at the end of every franchise mode, and that is retiring the numbers of players who have been fantastic for us. And honestly, there have been a lot of those. there have been a lot of those kinds of players on this team over the years. I would say Nadeau for sure. He's third in all-time Rangers scoring now, 896 points on his career in 956 games played. Artamonov, I mean, maybe. He certainly makes a good case for himself. He's fourth in the team scoring in history. Fox had 810 points in 1,052 games played. Of course, we did eventually trade him, but he did spend a large portion of his career here. Tomek had 716 points in 821 games played. There's so many players here that we could retire the numbers of. And you know what? I think, honestly, we got to give an honorary number to Emil Vinny, considering the fact that he was the only goaltender who even had some semblance of consistency over the course of this simulation. And he was almost always solid in the playoffs when he had to be, especially during our 2 cup runs, both this year and a few years ago during the 2034-35 season. So Vinny's got to have the honorary number for sure, but it's a matter of who else. Okay, Adam Fox's number is apparently already retired. I didn't realize that. Okay, so don't have to worry about that. I think we're going to start out with Emil Vinny here, and he is going to be an honored number. There you go. And I think it's got to be, is it without the E? Yeah, I think it's without the E. Yep. Bradley Nadeau, number 82, retired number. And is there anybody else? I'm considering Tomek. Yeah, I think Tomek as well. Tomek's been here for a while, and he's been such a key player for us all those years. So Tobias Tomek, number 10, add as a retired number. Honestly, I'm leaning towards Wenberg as well. Man, there's so many good players in this franchise mode. I guess this is a good problem to have, right? I mean, despite the fact that he can occasionally be inconsistent, I'm considering Artamonov too. Like, this is unprecedented. The amount of good players that we've had in this GM mode is crazy. You know, I don't want to go too crazy with it. An exclusive honor, right? To only the best of the best, but that's the problem, right? There was so many good players in this series. Like, I had a hard time making up my mind on who exactly I should put in as a retired number. So we'll just stick with these 3: Vinny, Nadeau, and Tomek. And before we end things off, I want to thank the channel members. Thank you for all your support. It really means a lot. And with that, we will officially call it wraps on this series. Thank you all for tuning in. Rangers fans, I hope I did you proud. I'm pretty sure, 2 Stanley Cups in 4 years, that's pretty good, And so with that, we'll end it off here. And the next one, I will see you guys under a new alias.